Sabbath to the sons and daughters of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Today our lesson is the creation from Abib to the eternity of no sin. Again, that's Abib to the eternity of no sin. A lot of people don't understand the magnitude of what we're dealing with when we're dealing with the Word of God. And I have before me, how old are you really in the creation? And once you really realize what the Lord is actually doing with His plan of salvation, there is no room for messing around, because our time in the creation, we're going to look at that, but we're going to look at from day one all the way out to the time where there will be no sin. No sin. And we're going to realize we're not even out of the month called Abib in the aspect of the creation. So with that being said, let's go look at Romans 8 and 22. Romans 8 and 22. Because we're going to look at the big picture. We're going to look at the overall, we're going to take a creator's perspective on this, y'all. But once you understand where we at in the creation, how we apply this creation, and what we got coming, which is eternity of no sin. If you're living in sin, then you will be forever removed. Forever. You shall not exist with God. You shall exist in torment forever and ever, but you cannot sin. I said cannot, because you're going to be too busy hollering and screaming for an eternity. That's why we have before you here, from the first day all the way out, we're going to go to the 14th day of creation. We're going to look at the days of heaven. And we're going to look at when God put man in His creation. That's what these lower circle parts are for us. Start right when God created man on the 6th day. So we're going to look at this from the Word of God. Now watch this. Let's go to Romans 8 and 22. Romans 8 and 22. Because the whole creation is in pain, y'all, because of death in the creation. Everyone suffers, from animals, the beasts, all the way to us, y'all. The whole creation is in pain and groans. So we're going to read Romans 8 and verse 22. Romans 8 and 22.
Verse 22. For we know that the whole creation groaneth and travaileth in pain together until now. Verse 23. And not only they, but ourselves also, which have the first fruits of the Spirit, even we ourselves groan within ourselves, waiting for the adoption, to wit, the redemption of our body.
Now we know that the whole creation groaneth and travaileth in what? Pain. The whole creation, y'all. Animals are dying. People are dying. People are suffering. The whole creation, y'all. And it said not only they, but ourselves also, which have the first fruits of the Spirit. We have the first fruits because we're looking for the first resurrection. That's why we deal with the Word of God, because we have the first fruits of the Spirit. Even we ourselves groan within ourselves, waiting for the adoption to wit the what? The redemption of our body. That's what we're waiting on, y'all. But watch how the Lord uses this in analogy with Israel. Let's go to Ezekiel 6 and 5. Exodus 6 chapter, verse 5. Exodus 6 chapter and verse 5. Exodus 6 chapter and verse 5. Exodus 6 and verse 5. Now watch how the Lord talks in same comparison as we're groaning now, the whole creation. He's going to say the same thing about the children of Israel before they got to the Passover. This is key. Before they got to the Passover, he knew that they were groaning. And watch this, y'all. Exodus 6 and verse 5.
Verse 5. And I have also heard the groaning of the children of Israel, whom the Egyptians keep in bondage. And I have remembered my covenant.
Wait a minute, he said, I have also heard the groanings of the children of Israel, whom the Egyptians kept in bondage, and I have remembered my covenant. So that's why the Lord gave Israel the Passover, to bring them out of bondage, to save them and bring them out of bondage. Well, it's the same way, but why we have all the way up to the 14th day of the creation. That's why we look at it. Because the whole creation is growing. We see Israel was growing, as well as the whole creation groaneth. So now let's go and look at when Israel came out. Let's go to Exodus 23 and verse 14. Exodus 23 and verse 14. We're taking a creation look at this thing. And we're going to start at day one. We're going to look at what the Lord did. We're going to see how indeed we have a 14th day. Exodus 23 verse 14. Watch this, y'all. 23 and verse 14.
Verse 14. 3 times thou shalt keep a feast unto me in a year. Verse 15. Thou shalt keep the feast of unleavened bread. Thou shalt eat unleavened bread 7 days, as I commanded thee. In the time appointed of the month, Abib. For in it thou camest out of Egypt, and none shall appear before me empty.
Now look, the Lord said, thou shalt keep the feast of unleavened bread. Thou shalt eat unleavened bread 7 days, as I command thee, in the time appointed of the month Abib, for in it thou camest forth from Egypt. And we're going to find out that we're still in Egypt. And we're talking about the creation. In Abib, we're still in the month Abib, and we're going to find out that Pharaoh is still in play. We're going to find that out. How? By going to Ezekiel 31 and 1. Ezekiel 31st chapter and verse 1. We're going to look at it we're going to see what the word says from the Creator's own mouth. Ezekiel 31 and verse 1. Watch this, y'all. Pharaoh is still in play, y'all. He is still on the table. Ezekiel 31 and verse 1. We're going to read verses 1 through 2, then we're going to skip that. Ezekiel 31 and start at verse 1.
Verse 1. And it came to pass in the 11th year, in the 3rd month, in the 1st day of the month, that the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, verse 2, Son of man, speak unto Pharaoh, king of Egypt, and to his multitude, whom art thou like in thy greatness? Now
he said, Son of man, speak unto Pharaoh, king of Egypt, to his multitude, whom art thou like in thy greatness? Now go ahead.
Verse 3, Behold, the Assyrian was a cedar in Lebanon, with fair branches, and with a shadowing shroud, and of a high stature, and his top was among the thick boughs.
Now he compared it to among, said, behold, the Assyrian. Now he compared it to very nations, but watch this, go ahead.
Verse 4. The waters made him great, the deep set him up on high with her rivers running around about his plants, and sending out her little rivers unto all the trees of the field. Verse 5. Therefore his height was exalted above all the trees of the field, and his boughs were multiplied, and his branches became long because of the multitude of waters when he shot forth.
Oh, so he was above all the trees of the field, his boughs were multiplied, and his branches became long because of what? Because of the multitude of waters which he shot for. Go ahead.
Verse 6. All the fowls of heaven made their nest in his boughs, and under his branches did all the beasts of the field bring forth their young, and under his shadow dwelt all great nations. Oh, and under his shadow dwelt all what?
Great nations? Oh, so we're talking bigger than just one little person here, huh? And we're talking Pharaoh, huh? Interesting. Go ahead.
Verse 7. Thus was he fair in his greatness, in the length of his branches, for his root was by great waters. Verse 8. The cedars in the garden of God could not hide him. The fir trees were not like his boughs, and the chestnut trees were not like his branches, nor any tree in the garden of God was like unto him in his beauty.
Oh, we're talking the garden of God? Oh, so we come from a creator's perspective. Watch this. Go ahead.
Verse 9. I have made him fair by the multitude of his branches, so that all the trees of Eden that were in the garden of God.
Oh, wait a minute. We're talking about the Garden of Eden. When did the Garden of Eden come into existence, y'all? On day one when the Lord created man and put him in it. So we're talking way bigger than just sitting here looking at one little garden in a sense, or one little man. We're looking from the Creator's perspective. And he's talking about Pharaoh. Now, skip down to verse, I want to skip down to verse 18. Read.
Verse 18. To whom art thou thus like in glory, and in greatness among the trees of Eden?
Oh, the trees of Eden? Ain't that where our mother and father comes from, Adam and Eve? Adam was created from the dust of the ground. The Lord dressed him and put him in the Garden of Eden? Go ahead.
Yet shalt thou be brought down with the trees of Eden unto the nether part of the earth. Thou shalt lie in the midst of the uncircumcised.
Uncircumcised? We're going to show you the uncircumcised going to get dealt with. Watch this. Go ahead.
With them that be slain by the sword.
Uh-huh.
This is Pharaoh and all his multitude, said the Lord God.
Whoa! Wait a minute. You mean to tell me that Pharaoh was in the Garden of Eden? Or is the Lord showing us we still in Abib, y'all? Because the Lord brought Israel out from under Pharaoh. And he's showing you here that this is Pharaoh and all his multitude. Now, Pharaoh wasn't mentioned until Genesis 12 chapter, verse 15. That's the first time the name Pharaoh appears, y'all. And in Numbers 9:9, it tells you what he did to Pharaoh. Matter of fact, let's go look at that. Numbers 9:9. Let's go to Numbers 9 chapter and verse 9. Because we're looking on we're still in Abib, y'all. Pharaoh is still in play. That's why Israel had to deal with Pharaoh in the month of what? Abib. We're still in Abib, y'all. We're going to find that out very, very soon. Numbers 9 chapter. Yeah, the Pharaoh we're talking about, we're going to see what the book say. Numbers 9 chapter and verse 9. Read.
Verse 9. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children.
Nehemiah. My bad. Nehemiah, I'm looking dead at. Nehemiah 9:9. Because God took out Pharaoh, the man, the little physical man, when he destroyed Egypt, drowned his army in the Red Sea. But wait a minute, how was Pharaoh in the Garden of Eden? We're going to get some understanding this day, y'all. Because we are in the month Abib. We hadn't left the month Abib. We ain't even got past, we ain't even got to the 12th day of Abib yet, y'all. We have yet to get to the 12th day, y'all. We're on our way to the 14th day, though. That's why I got this thing laid out in front of me. Nehemiah 9:9. Read.
Verse 9. And didst see the affliction of your fathers in Egypt.
Yeah, he said, I heard the groanings of the children of Israel, and the Lord see our afflictions now in Egypt. Go ahead.
And heardest their cry.
Yes,
the
sir.
Red Sea. Verse 10. And there showed signs and wonders upon Pharaoh and on all his servants and on all the people of his land. But thou knewest that they dealt proudly against him. So didst thou get thee a name, as is this day. Verse 11. And thou didst divide the sea before them, so that they went through the midst of the sea on the dry land, and their persecutors thou threwest into the deeps, as a stone into the mighty.
So he took care of Pharaoh and his army when they went after Israel. But why is we talking about the Pharaoh in the Garden of Eden? We're going to find out, y'all, who that really is. And we're going to understand it's a creator's perspective, because we have not left the month Abib, y'all. So let's go to Isaiah 30:1. Isaiah 30th chapter and verse 1. Read.
Verse 1. Woe to the rebellious children, said the Lord, that take counsel, but not of me, and that cover with the covering, but not of my spirit, that they may add sin to sin.
See, and that's a rebellious spirit. This is the Lord talking, and they cover themselves with the Spirit of the Lord. Oh, the Lord is with me, yet they want to add sin to sin. But why are they doing that? Go ahead. Because they're rebellious, and what are they doing?
Verse 2. That walk to go down into Egypt.
Oh, they're walking to go down to Egypt? So everywhere people are talking about adding sin to sin, that means, oh, it don't matter what you do. God is in your heart. Christ is going to eat whatever I want. Or righteousness, that's okay. You know, all the stuff that sin, which is transgression of the law, forbids, everybody will say it's okay. That's added sin and sin that walk to go down to Egypt. Go ahead.
And have not asked at my mouth.
Oh, they ain't asking at the Lord's mouth. As soon as you read this book on them, oh, brother, what's wrong with you? You think you know how? No, well, I just read the Bible to you. I'm reading what's coming from the mouth of the Lord. But go ahead.
To strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh.
Oh, they're strengthening themselves in the strength of who?
Pharaoh.
Pharaoh. Go ahead.
And to trust in the shadow of Egypt.
And they trusted in the shadow of what? Egypt. Because we're going to find out, y'all, that the Lord still going to yet deliver his creation because we are in Egypt. We are still in the month Abib. Go ahead.
Verse 3. Therefore shall the strength of Pharaoh be your shame, and the trust in the shadow of Egypt your confusion.
Oh, no one so much religious confusion running around. Everybody got their own clique. Everybody think they're right till you bring a book, and then they got a problem with you because you bring a book because they doing what? They trusted in the strength of Pharaoh and the shadow of Egypt, and they're running in confusion. Look how much more Pharaoh's dealing. Go ahead. Look what else he got. Go ahead.
Verse 4. For his princes were as Zon.
So he got princesses. Go ahead.
And his ambassadors came to hang.
And he got ambassadors, y'all. Go ahead.
Verse 5. They were all ashamed of a people that could not profit them, nor be in help, nor profit, but ashamed and also reproach.
Yes, sir.
Verse 6. The burden of the beasts of the south into the land of trouble and anguish from whence come the young and old lion, the viper and the fiery flying serpent. They will carry their riches upon the shoulders of young asses, and their treasures upon the bunches of camels to a people that should not profit them.
Because the people that they call keeping into this confusion and all that, going to cause them to inherit eternal damnation. Watch what it goes on. Go ahead.
Verse 7. For the Egyptians shall help in vain, and to no purpose. Therefore have I cried concerning this. Their strength is to sit still.
Now watch this. Now watch how Prophet Isaiah goes on to say. Go ahead.
Verse 8. Now go, write it before them in a table, and note it in a book.
Oh, go write it before them. Before all the princes of Egypt, those that are running with the treasures and the fiery serpent. They got their money on their back and their mind on their money. They got all this prosperity. They got all this stuff going on. Now Isaiah going to tell them, now go write it before them in a table and note it in a book. Go ahead.
That it may be for the time to come forever and ever. Verse 9. That this is a rebellious people.
Ain't that what verse 1 started out with, y'all? Ain't that what verse 1 started out with? That this is a rebellious people. Go ahead.
Lying children.
Oh, lying children. Go ahead.
Children that will not hear the law of the Lord.
Children that would not hear the law of who?
The
Lord. These people are in Egypt. These are people are sitting under Pharaoh all day tomorrow. Some of them even on the Sabbath day. But they won't hear all of it. They won't hear the whole law. All they want to hear is the part, you know, it's called selective Christianity, or I pick the choice parts. At least omit the rest. Nevertheless, this is a rebellious children, lying children, children that would not hear the law of the Lord. Go ahead.
Verse 10. Which say to the seers, see not, and to the prophets, prophesy not unto us right things, speak unto us smooth things. Prophesy deceit.
Yes, sir.
Verse 11. Get you out of the way, turn aside out the path, because the Holy One of Israel to cease from before us.
And cause the Holy One of Israel to cease from before us. Now let's go beyond this, y'all, when the Lord come back and he's in Jerusalem. Because the lying children ain't going to tell you this part. So let's go read it. They sure they're going to believe it. Zechariah 14 chapter, y'all. Let's go to Zechariah 14 and verse 16. Zechariah 14 and verse 16. This is when the Lord is back on this earth. Now, lying children are going to tell you, oh, we going up yonder. When I go up in glory see his face. No, you ain't going up in glory see his face. Because you sitting up under Pharaoh. In Egypt, you trusted in this shadow. Well, let's trust this right here. Zechariah 14 and verse 16. Watch this, y'all.
Verse 16. And it shall come to pass that every one that is left of all the nations which came against Jerusalem shall even go up from year to year to worship the King, the Lord of hosts, and to keep the Feast of Tabernacles.
Oh, whoa, whoa. So they're keeping the Feast of Tabernacles when the Lord comes back? Interesting. So what we supposed to be doing now about the Feast of Tabernacles? Keeping it, ain't it? And it's when the Lord comes back. Go ahead.
Verse 17. And it shall be that whoso will not come up of all the families of the earth unto Jerusalem to worship the King.
Oh, that's what the King gonna be at in Jerusalem? To keep the Feast of Tabernacles? This is all the families of the earth, so the tabernacles ain't a Jew thing? It's a family of God thing? Yes, sir. But if you've been sitting up under Pharaoh, trusting in lies, in the strength of Egypt and the confusion, you don't know these things. But it's going to be set before you. It's going to be set before you. But at that time, it's going to be too late. Because he said all the families of the earth, if they don't come up to keep to Jerusalem to worship the King, because that's where the King going to be. King Jesus is going to be there, y'all. The Lord of hosts, even upon them, shall be what? Finish that.
The Lord of hosts, even upon them shall be no rain. Verse 18. And if the family of Israel go not.
Oh, whoa, whoa. He said, and if the family of who?
Egypt.
Egypt. Still in play, y'all. Why? Because we have not cleared the month Abib. So he said, if the family of Egypt go not up, go ahead.
And come not, that have no rain, there should be the plague wherewith the Lord will smite the heathen that come not up to keep the Feast of the Tabernacle.
So that tell you what you into if you don't believe in keeping the Feast of Tabernacle. You into heathenism. Go ahead.
Verse 19. This should be the punishment of Egypt and the punishment of all nations that come not up to keep the Feast of Tabernacles.
See, because we haven't gotten to the 14th day of the creation yet. We haven't got to that point, even when the Lord get back, only for this day here, when Israel is sitting and ruling the earth. When the Lord King is ruling the earth, Egypt is still in play, because we haven't gotten to this day yet. When Israel was delivered by the blood, it came out of Egypt, y'all. Watch this. So now, let's do ourselves a favor. Let's go to Deuteronomy, let's go to Genesis, rather, Genesis 1 and 1. We're going to walk this thing from the beginning, y'all, show you why Pharaoh was in Egypt, and we're going to take the creation look. We're going to start here, y'all. We're going to start here in Genesis 1. Genesis 1 and verse 1. Genesis 1 and verse 1. Read.
Verse 1. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth.
Now look. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. This is the universe, all that we know above the heavens and the earth, all that we know that we can see, that heaven represents the universe. All those stars that you go on the NASA space channels and the universe, there's a guy, I can't think his name right now, but you see all the pretty stars and the universes, and God created all of that, y'all. He said, and God created the heavens and the earth. Now hold this spot. Let's make sure we understand what God we're talking about now. Let's go to St. John 1 and 1. St. John 1 and 1. Read.
Verse 1. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God.
Yes, sir.
Verse 2, the same was in the beginning with God. Verse 3, all things were made by him, and without him was not anything made that was made.
So now we see the Word that was with God, aka He is God. He the one that spoke and spoke everything into existence, y'all. How do I know that? Right quick, let's go show you who this is, right? Let's skip down all the way down to verse 14. Read, let's skip down to verse 14.
Verse 14. And the Word was made flesh and dwelt among us, and we beheld his glory, the glory as of the only begotten of the Father, full of grace and truth.
And he's the only begotten, full of grace and truth. But let's see what else he is, y'all. Let's go to, skip down to verse 29.
Verse 29. The next day John seeth Jesus coming unto him.
Because that's who we're talking about, Jesus. Go ahead.
And saith, Behold, the Lamb of God, which taketh away the sin of the world.
So the Lamb of God, the only begotten, he's also called the Word of God, was in the beginning. And he created all things. Let's go to Colossians right quick. Colossians 1 to confirm that. And then we're going to get back and we're going to see that this is none other than Jesus that did the creation. And it's something else that he is, y'all. We're going to find out in this lesson. Colossians 1 and verse. I'm going to go to Colossians 1 and verse 16. Colossians 1 and verse 16. Read.
Verse 16. For by him were all things created.
Yes, sir. We read that's the Word. He was made flesh. He was the Lamb of God, which comes to take away the sins of the world. So for by him were all things created. Go ahead.
That are in heaven.
Yes, sir.
And that are in earth.
Yes, sir.
Visible and invisible. Whether they be thrones or dominions, or principalities or powers. All things were created by him.
So whether it's east, west, north, south kingdom, God created it all. Jesus, he is the creator. God said whether they be thrones or dominions or principalities or powers, all things were created by him and for him. Go ahead.
17. And he is before all things, and by him all things consist.
Ain't that what we read in John 1st chapter, y'all? Verse 1. Verse 2. He created all things. There was nothing made that he did not make. Jesus is God, the creator. What else is he also? Go ahead.
Verse 18. And he is the head of the body, the church, who was the beginning, the firstborn from the dead.
Oh, should be the secondborn. Because Enoch got everlasting life. What it called Jesus?
The first.
It called him the firstborn. From the what? Dead. Go ahead.
That in all things he might have the preeminence.
Oh, that he might have the preeminence, huh? Because he is the creator, and we're going to find out, going through Jesus, when we get to the 14th day, Jesus is the Passover. We have yet to get to this, and we're going to show you something about that. Very unique in this month, Abib, that we're all living in. Let's go back to Genesis, and we're going to walk down the days in the creation. So back to Genesis 1, this time we're going to pick it up at verse 3. Genesis 1 and verse 3.
Verse 3. And God said.
Oh, we could say Jesus said it, right? He the Word. He the one that spoke it. All things created. We could say Jesus said that. Jesus said, go ahead.
And God said, let there be light. And there was light.
Yes, sir.
And God saw the light, that it was good. And God divided the light from the darkness.
Yes, sir.
And God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. In the evening and the morning were the first day.
This is the dispensation of time right here, y'all. Day one. Right there. What God said, evening and the morning was the first what? Day. That's the first time had been dispersed. Right there. So this whole creation week chapter is how God used the dispensation of time to control all aspects of this creation. Of this creation. So let's look at what's in this creation, y'all. Go ahead.
Verse 6. And God said, let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters. Verse 7. And God made the firmament and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament. And it was so. And God called the firmament heaven, and the evening and the morning were the second day.
So time dominates what goes on in heaven. That's why it takes you thousands and hundreds of years to go from one planet to another planet. Man can already figure out, man, it's 100 light years to this distance. It's 100 light years to that distance. It takes us so many years to get to the very next planet. Why? Because God dispersed and controlled time. When he put the dispensation of time, he put that on the table first, and that controls every element of this creation's existence, y'all. Every element. Go ahead.
Verse 9. And God said, let the waters under the heaven be gathered together unto one place, and let the dry land appear. And it was so.
Yes, sir.
Verse 10. And God called the dry land earth, and the gathering together of the waters called the seas. And God saw that it was good. And God said, let the earth bring forth grass, the herb yielding seed, and the fruit tree yielding fruit after his kind, whose seed is in itself upon the earth. And it was so. And the earth brought forth grass and herb yielding seed after his kind.
Do we keep hearing the word after its kind, after its kind? This creation is, everything is after its kind, y'all. After its kind. Key word all throughout this. Go ahead.
And the tree yielding fruit, whose seed was in itself after his kind. And God saw that it was good. And the evening and the morning were the third day.
Now look, what no sun and moon created by this time is what was dispersed and was manipulating everything. Everything, y'all. Everything. Now let's make sure we understand what kind of time we're talking about by going to Psalms 90th chapter and verse 4. Hold that spot, let's go to Psalms. Let's show you what we're looking at in days here, y'all. Psalms 90th chapter and verse 4. Each one of these days before me, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, all the way down to the 14th day. We're going to get there. We're going to show you why that's 14 days, y'all. Because remember, Israel had to come out. That groaning ended. That groaning ended on the 14th day. We're going to read that. So read Psalms 90 and verse 4.
Verse 4. For 1,000 years in the sight of are by as yesterday when it is past, and as a watch in the night. So
1,000 years is in that sight is as yesterday. And it said, but sorry, when it is past and is as a watch in the night. Now let's go to Peter, 2 Peter, 3rd chapter, and see what the servant of God understood that to mean. We let the Bible interpret the Bible. It says what it says, and we're going to read what it says and believe it. So we're going to 2 Peter 3 and verse 8. Read.
Verse 8. But beloved, be not ignorant of this one thing, that one day is with the Lord as 1,000 years, and 1,000 years as a one day.
Notice, one day to God is 1,000 years. So as we were reading, we went from day 1, that's 1,000, day 2, 2,000, day 3, 3,000. That's what we got to, ain't it? That's what we got off of the third day, right? The third day, y'all, each day to God, we're going to go count it up. Each day to God is 1,000 years. 1,000 years, y'all. So now let's go back to Genesis. Pick it up where we left off of. We're going back to Genesis 1 and verse 14.
Verse 14. And God said, let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night.
Oh, wait a minute. We already had evening and morning going on, y'all. Now we're getting down to what specifically applies to this planet for us, what we have. That's why he said, let there be lights and firmament of heaven to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and years, and let them be for lights in the firmament of heaven to give light upon the earth. Notice it's specific to the earth And it was so. Go ahead.
Verse 16. And God made two great lights, the greater light to rule the day,
That's the sun.
and the lesser light to rule the night.
And that's the moon. Go ahead.
He made the stars also.
Yes, sir.
Verse 17. And God said,
Hold on, I don't mean to interrupt you, but I always like to say, wait a minute, y'all. The moon didn't dictate when the month started. Okay? This whole creation week, the Lord started the week, the beginning out with darkness. Okay? Then he called light. Then he set another parameter on the table later on. Oh, this is all the way down to what? The fourth day? Keep going. Verse 17.
And God set them in the firmament of heaven to give light upon the earth, and to rule over the day and over the night, and to divide the light from the darkness. And God saw that it was good. Verse 19. The evening and the morning were the fourth day.
So we're already to the fourth day, but the moon showed up on the fourth day, not the third day, not the second day. That's why a dark moon constitutes the beginning, because there was no moon visible in the beginning, y'all. Okay? I just want to add that little tidbit in there. And this is the creation week. This is how we start out Abib, y'all. All together, right here. It's all together, right here. Go ahead.
Verse 20. And God said, let the waters bring forth abundantly the moving creatures that have life, and fowl that may fly above the earth in the open firmament of heaven. And God created great whales and every living creature that moved, which the waters brought forth abundantly after their kind, and every winged fowl after his kind. And God saw that it was good.
Yeah, amen. Go ahead.
And God blessed them, saying, be fruitful and multiply, and fill the waters and the seas, and let fowl multiply in the earth. And in the evening and the morning or the fifth day.
So we're on the fifth day, y'all. On the fifth day, we hadn't got to man yet. Go ahead.
And God said, let the earth bring forth the living creature after his kind, cattle and creeping thing and beasts of the earth after his kind. And it was so.
See, notice, after its kind. Again, I want to remind you, the Lord is setting up the dispensation of time. What time dominates. That's why the years of a dog or a beast or a whale or a cat or a dog or a mouse, they're different from ours. Because this chapter is the dispensation of time. The very first dispensation as God set forth his creation, and time controls all these things we're reading, y'all. All of them. Go ahead.
Verse 25. Excuse me. Verse 25. And God made the beasts of the earth after his kind, and cattle after their kind, and everything that creepeth upon the earth after his kind. And God saw that it was good. Verse 26. And God said, let us make man in our image.
Oh, we finally getting around to us now, huh? So let us make man in our image. Go ahead.
After our likeness, and let them have a dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. So God created man in his own image. In the image of God created he him. Male and female created he them.
So the species of man consists of male and what? Female, y'all. That's a species, male and female. Go ahead.
And God blessed them, and God said unto them, be fruitful and multiply, and replenish the earth. Oh,
wait a minute now. He told man to be fruitful and multiply and do what? Replenish the earth. Because guess what? Something existed before Adam. He said replenish. Replenish means refill. And he told Noah the same thing. Be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth. We'll find out what that was when we come out the month Abib, y'all. When the Lord put away sin, and we all God, and we're going to show Jesus the beginning of the creation of God. That's what we're going to find out, y'all. But look, read.
And subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over every living thing that moveth upon the earth. And God said, behold, I have given you every herb bearing seed, which is upon the face of all the earth, and every tree in which is the fruit of a tree yielding seed. To you it shall be for meat. Verse 30. And to every beast of the earth, and to every fowl of the air, and to everything that creepeth upon the earth, wherein there is life. I have given every green herb for meat, and it was so. And God saw everything that he had made, and behold, it was very good. In the evening, in the morning, or the sixth day.
Now, no, he had evening in the morning, the first day, evening in the morning, the second, and the third, and the fourth, and the fifth. So each one of those days was 1,000 years. And if you split it, that's 500 years for evening, 500 years for day, y'all. So each day was 1,000 years. You split it down the middle. Half of it was for night, the other half was for day. And we walked it all the way down to the sixth day, y'all. But let's go to Leviticus right quick. Leviticus 1. Leviticus 1 and 8, and look at this thing. This is why the Lord used the creation week to set up his feast days. This is how we know what Abib is, because evening and morning, that's equal. 500 and 500, that's equal, y'all. That's why we wait for the equinox. That's why we wait for the equinox, y'all. Leviticus 23 and verse 1.
23 verse 1?
Yeah, Leviticus 23. Leviticus 23 and verse 1. Watch it, go ahead.
And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and said to them, concerning the feast of the Lord, which ye shall proclaim to be holy convocations, even these are my feasts. 6 days shall work be done, but the 7 days the Sabbath of rest and holy convocation. You should do no so work therein. It is the Sabbath of the Lord in all your dwellings.
Now, what I want to do is add on to this. Let's go to Exodus 20th chapter. Exodus 20th chapter, and we're going to be verse 11. The Lord used 6 days of work, because he did 6 days of work, and he rested on his Sabbath. And watch what it says in the commandment. Exodus 20 chapter and verse 11.
Verse 11. For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, the sea, and all that in them is, and rested the 7th day.
Yes, sir.
Wherefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it.
Now look, it said, for the Lord worked 6 days and made heaven and earth. When we read those 6 days, and the sea and all that in them is, and rested the 7th day, wherefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it. Now let's go back to Leviticus 23. And a very interesting thing gonna happen, y'all. We went 1 through 7 right here, because he used the creation week to set his feast. Because the moon was created within those 6 days. That's why we wait for that Abib moon. If that new moon that don't show up within the 7 days of the creation week, if it's too soon, then we got to wait for the next one. But if it show up within 7 days of the equinox, then we use that new moon, and then we count what we're going to read right now. Go ahead, Leviticus 4th chapter.
Leviticus 4th chapter.
I'm 23rd chapter, verse 4.
Verse 4. These are the feasts of the Lord, even holy convocations, which ye shall proclaim in their season. Verse 5. And the 14th day of the first month at evening is the Lord's Passover.
Whoa, then he said he went from talking 7 days, then he went to the 14th day? Why did the Lord do that? Well, let's take a quick look at this chart. The Lord had worked 6 days, rested the 7th day, right? But he made man on the what? On the 6th day. But what happened with man, y'all, that caused the Lord to tell him to work? Then he turned around and told man, you got to work 6 days. So if you had 6 and 6, that give you what? That give you 12. And that comes from an 8-year-old. So 6 and 6 give us 12. So when we count from when the time he said, thou shalt, God created heaven and earth from the first day, all the way out till we get to 12, which would be the 7th day for man, but that's when we rest. Guess what? That's the 12th day of the creation. But am I just talking jargon here, y'all? Let's do ourselves a favor and look at and understand that there are days of heaven going on here. Let's do ourselves a favor and go to Psalms 89 verse 20. Now we know after the number 7, anybody that can count, when you count from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. What come after 7? 8. But that 8 is right before we get to the 14th day of creation, y'all. But we're going to find out why this is so pertinent. But I want to make sure we understand what we're looking at. I go into Psalms 89 chapter and verse 20. Because when man sinned, death came in to play. Psalms 89 and verse 20. We're going to start there. Let me make sure I got that right verse. Sorry, first verse 28. My bad. Psalms 89 and verse 20. Because he's talking about David. But watch what he says in his Psalms. Psalms 89 and 28. Go ahead.
Verse 28. My mercy will I keep for him forevermore, and my covenant shall stand fast with him. Verse 29. His seed also will I make to endure forever, and his throne as the days of heaven.
Oh, so there are days of heaven as the days of heaven. So when the Lord is continuously, his days just continue to roll on, y'all. From day one, when he said the dispensation of time in play, he gave you his plan, told you what you're going to do, created man on the 6th day. But man committed sin, y'all. Adam sinned. So now death came in on man's 6th day. So now he said, look, since you did that, you're going to have to work for 6 days and rest the 7th day. All those that keep God's commandments going to do that. But what if you don't believe that? The command of this book is just a piece of paper to you. It don't even matter. We're going to read about that. You represent the uncircumcised. That's why the Lord said they trust in the shadow of Pharaoh, and then in the midst of Egypt, and then confusion in Egypt, they abound in that. Look, let's do this. Let's go to Deuteronomy 11 chapter. Deuteronomy 11 and 18. It's in more than one place, y'all. Deuteronomy 11 and verse 18. You got some very clever false prophets out there. Oh, brother, just cause it says down in one place, that don't make it so, man. You making up stuff. Them people that trust in Pharaoh. We trust the word of God. The book says the days of heaven in more than one place. We're finna read it right here. Deuteronomy 11 and verse Deuteronomy 11. Let's start at verse 20, because this is under the ordinance, the old carnal ordinance is under the old covenant, where they had to write the commandments on the walls and on the doorposts. So we're going to start at Deuteronomy 11 and verse 20. Read.
Verse 20. And thou shalt write them upon the doorposts of thine house and upon thy gates. Verse 21. That your days may be multiplied in the days of your children in the land which the Lord swore unto your fathers to give them as the days of heaven upon the earth. Oh, so he said that your days may be to give them as the days of what? Heaven. The days of heaven upon the earth, y'all. So we have days that's in heaven where Lord exists right now, and then you have the days with men, flesh and blood, where we live with death. That's why the Lord prayer said, thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in what? Heaven. Because ain't nobody up there dying. But down here, people are dying. Why is it that? Let's go to 1 Corinthians. 1 Corinthians 15 chapter, verse 21. 1 Corinthians 15 and 21. So Adam was created, man was created on the 6th day, and watch what it says. 1 Corinthians 15 and verse 21. Read. Verse 21. For since by man came death, by man came also the resurrection of the dead.
So when God created man, on the 6th day, that's when death came in. That's what that line a little further down on the bottom represents. All the way till we get all the way down, and that line is going to go all the way to the 8th day. It's going to go through the 7th day. The Lord, when he get back, and we going up to Jerusalem, worship the King, he just going to extend life. He didn't take death off the table yet. We're going to find out what death leaves the table, y'all. Okay? So now let's do ourselves a favor. Let's go to 2 Peter 3 and 8. Because this is where we're headed, y'all. 2 Peter 3. Sorry, 2 Peter 3 and 8. 3. We're going to go verse 9. 2 Peter 3 and verse 9. Because he just told us 1,000 years to God is one day, and one day to God is 1,000 years. Go ahead.
Verse 8. But beloved, be not ignorant of this one thing, that one day is with the Lord as 1,000 years, and 1,000 years as one day. The Lord is not slack concerning his promise, as some men count slackness, but is long-suffering to usward, not willing that any should perish, but that all should come to repentance. But the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, in the which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. The earth also and the works that are in therein shall be burned up.
So there's a fire coming, y'all. Go ahead.
Verse 11. Seeing then that all these things shall be dissolved, what manner of persons ought ye to be in all holy convocations, and good and godliness, looking for and hasting until the coming of the day of God, wherein the heavens being on fire shall be dissolved, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. Verse 13. Nevertheless, we, according to his promise, look for new heavens and a new earth.
Also, we're looking for a new heaven and a new earth. Now, this new heaven and new earth is going to be the one when the Father comes down. Because Jesus, when he comes, he's going to bring a new heaven and a new earth. How am I going to finish this? We're going to read that. Go ahead.
Wherein dwelleth righteousness. Verse 14.
So what going to dwell therein?
Righteousness.
So he said righteousness going to dwell therein. So there will be no more sin when the new heaven and new earth come, y'all. There will be no sin. When we get to the Passover, ain't going to be none. Because this is dealing with the days of heaven up here. And man, we got sin to deal with. That's why, let's go and read this. Let's go quickly now to, I want to go to Genesis. I'm sorry, Romans 5th chapter. Romans 5 and verse 12. Romans 5 and verse 12. Read.
Wherefore, as by one man sin entered into the world.
So by one man, when did sin enter into the world? When man was created, right here on the 6th day. That's why he says 6 days shall thou labor and do all that work. But the 7th is the Sabbath of the Lord. Therein you shall rest. And when we get, by the time we get there, y'all, being mankind, guess what? It'll be the 12th day of heaven, or the 12,000 years. Okay? You finish that? Go ahead.
And death by sin. And so death passed upon all men, for they all have sinned.
Now wait a minute. This book just said, Paul even said, so death has passed upon what? All men. And guess what? No man can live to be past 8,000 years to God. Let's go read what the Lord told Adam in the 5th chapter. I'm sorry, 3rd chapter. That's why each day is 1,000 years. And we're going to go to Genesis. And we're going to go Genesis 2nd chapter, sorry. Genesis 2nd chapter and verse 16. Sorry, let's start at one when he created it and then see what the commandment that he gave. Genesis 2, and we're going to start at verse 7. Go ahead.
Verse 7. And the Lord God formed man of the dust of the ground, and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul. Verse 8. And the Lord God planted a garden eastward in Eden.
Oh, so Pharaoh was in Eden too. That's what we read earlier. We're going to show you the connection, y'all. Go ahead.
And there he put the man whom he had formed.
Now look, let's skip down to verse 15.
Verse 15. And the Lord God took the man and put him into the garden of Eden.
Yes, sir.
To dress it and to keep it. Verse 16. And the Lord God commanded the man, saying, of every tree of the garden thou mayest freely eat. Verse 17. But of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil thou shalt not eat it. Eat of it, for in the day that thou eatest thereof thou shalt surely die.
Now, how long did Adam live, y'all? Let's find out how long Adam lived by going to Genesis, the 5th chapter. And we're going to go Genesis 5 and verse 1. Read.
Verse 1. This is the book of the generations of Adam. And the day that God created man in the likeness of God, he made he him. Verse 2. Male and female created he them, and blessed them, and called their name Adam. On the day when they were created.
Now look, skip down to verse 5.
Verse 5. And all the days that Adam lived were 930 years, and he died.
Oh, so he didn't live, he died in that day. Adam died in that day. But his offspring continued to procreate. That's why he said, be fruitful and multiply and replenish the what? The earth. So now man's existence in the creation has continued beyond the 6th day. But nevertheless, no man can live beyond 1,000 years. Because he said, the day that you eat thereof, you shall surely die. And we have all sinned. So guess what? No man has lived to be 1,000 years. That's how I know Enoch is dead, or this book is a lie. Because Enoch existed what? Before the flood, right? And everybody knows 1,000 years don't pass by now, y'all. Okay? Anyway, that's too easy, y'all. Too easy. Nevertheless, who lived to be the oldest, though? The longest? Let's go to Genesis 5 and 27. In the same chapter, skip down to verse 27. Because it talks about how all the days of Jarrell, all the days of Methuselah, all the days of Enos, all the days of Seth. Because all these people are dead. None of them have lived over 1,000 years. They're all dead. Everybody in this chapter dead, y'all. Every last one of them. And Enoch was taken away from the evil to come, y'all. Just because you got one of those little stubborn, hard-headed, he didn't see death. Wow. The Lord told us that we believe in him, we shall not see death either. Talking about the second death, y'all. But that's a whole nother tangent. But right here, skip all the way down. Let's see who lives the longest out of any man that was ever created, ever born. Skip all the way down to verse 27.
Verse 27. And all the days of Methuselah were 969 years, and he died.
See, he lived 969 years. And then he died. Everybody in this chapter dead, y'all, straight up. Nevertheless, so now each one of these years, each one of these days is 1,000 years. So man been around going on almost, we getting pretty close, y'all. We almost getting to that 7th day for man and the 12th day of the creation. That's how long we've been around, y'all. So let's do ourselves a favor now. Watch this now. Let's go to 1 Corinthians. I'm sorry, I'm going to go, not 1 Corinthians, let's go to Psalms 90 chapter, verse 4. Back to Psalms 90. And watch this, y'all. So, yeah, skip all the way down to Psalms 90, Psalms 90 and verse 9. Sorry, verse 8. Psalms 90 and verse 8. Go ahead.
Verse 8. Thou hast set our iniquities before thee, our secret sins in the light of thy countenance. Verse 9. For all our days are passed away in thy wrath. We spend our years as a tale that is told.
As a tale that is told. Go ahead.
Verse 10. The days of our years, and 80 years and 10, and if by reason of strength they be fourscore years, yet is their strength, labor, and sorrow, for it is soon cut off, and we fly away.
So the best we could, if you can make it to 89, that's by reason of strength. Now I have in front of me here, how old are you in creation? Okay? Now watch this, y'all. Let me show you because we're looking from the creator's perspective. This whole thing is from the creation aspect, y'all. Watch this. 1,000 years to God is 1 day. So half a day is 12 hours or 500 years. 250 years is 6 hours old. Write this down. Make sure you write this down. It's also available as a handout on the BibleQuizWithGod.com doc for you. If you live 250 years old, you are lived to be 6 hours old in this creation. 6 hours. 6. If you make it to be 125 years old, you are 3 hours old in this creation, y'all. Okay? Those of you that are so blessed to make it to 62 years old, you've only been here for 45 minutes. You've had 45 minutes in God's creation. And we're looking at 1,000 years to the Lord is 1 day. And 1 day to the Lord, 1,000 years is 1 day. And 1 day is 1,000 years. So you made 62 years old, you are 45 minutes old in this creation. Okay? If you are 31 years old, you've had 22 minutes and 30 seconds in the sight of the Creator. Okay? Those that are 15 years old, you've only been here for 11 minutes. Wow. Okay? The one that's 7 years old, you've been here for 5 minutes, 7.5 seconds, y'all. Okay? And the little child, the child that's 3 years old, him only been here for 2 minutes. You think we're talking about the Creator, y'all. So, with that being said, as we break this thing down, let me show you how long Jesus was in the creation, y'all. He can only take so much of it. Hold on, because I got it on this board. Jesus could only stomach 24 minutes, y'all. 30 years old, 33 and a half years old. He could only stomach 24 minutes of sin in his creation. That's all he could stomach. That's how he was crucified at 33 and a half years old. So he was in his own creation, as creator being manifested in the flesh. He could only take 24 minutes of this body, y'all. Okay, think about that. Think about that. So now, let's count. Let's continue on. Now, as we go, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, man was created. Now, sin entered into the world. So now, God looking like, I rested, but y'all ain't. Y'all getting out. So, I'm commanding you to work 6 days, and then you're going to rest the 7th day, man. But what if you don't believe that? That's a 7th day, y'all. How I know that day remaineth? Watch it. Let's go to Hebrews, the 4th chapter. Let's go to Hebrews 4 and verse 4. Hebrews 4 and 4.
Verse 4. For he spake in a certain place of the 7th day, on this wise, and God did rest the 7th day from all his work.
No, he spake in a certain place on what? The 7th day. And on this wise, and God did rest the 7th day from all his works. Go ahead.
Verse 5. And in this place again, and they shall enter into my rest. Verse 6. Seeing therefore it remaineth that some must enter the ram, and they to whom it was first preached entered not, and because of unbelief. Oh, wait a minute now. Why is the Lord talking about seeing therefore it remaineth that some must enter therein? Because he's talking about this 7th day right here, y'all. We got to get into that. That's his rest. The 7th day is the Lord's Sabbath of rest. Therefore there remaineth a rest, go ahead. And the ones that didn't enter not in because of what? Unbelief. So if you don't care about the Sabbath day, what you got waiting on you? The 8th day, which comes right before, which falls under the 13th day of creation. I'm going to show you how that 8 and 13 line up, y'all. Straight up. Before the Passover. So go ahead, keep reading. Verse 7. Again, he limited a certain day, saying daily.
Oh, God limited a certain day. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Today, after so long a time, as it is said, today if ye will hear his voice, harden not your hearts. Verse 8, for if Jesus had given them rest, then would he not afterward have spoken of another day? There remaineth thereof a rest to the people of God.
So there remaineth therefore a rest to the people of God. So so from 6 days, when he created us on the 6th day, you add 6 days, he told us, man, you're going to labor. And then the 7th day, there remaineth a rest to the people of God. So what about the people that are not other people of God? They're not coming up on this day of rest. But guess what's waiting on them? The 8th day, which is the 13th day of the creation. But go ahead.
Verse 10, for he that is entered into his rest, he also has ceased from his own works, as God did from his.
Now look, watch this, y'all. Unbelief is why they're not ceasing, nor are they following. Because it said, for he that is entered into his rest, he also has ceased from his own work, as God did from his. And what the verse 4 said, God rests the 7th day. So we rest on the what? 7th day for man, but it's going to be the 12th day of the creation as far as the days of heaven go. From the time when God said, let there be light. All the way down. But what if you don't believe in this? You don't believe in remember the Sabbath day? This Bible is just a piece of paper to you. Guess what the Lord said he got written down? Let's go to Hebrews, the 9th chapter, verse 27. Hebrews 9 and 27. Hebrews 9th chapter, verse 27.
Verse 27. And as it is appointed unto men once to die, but after this the judgment.
Wait a minute, he said, as it is appointed unto man once to what? Die. That's why can't no man get past 1,000 years or 1 day to God. You are appointed to die. Where Peter at? Where Moses? Where all the righteous people that lived back in 1800 BC, 100 BC, 300 BC, 400 BC? They dead. So you know Enoch dead. Noah dead. All the righteous are dead because it is appointed to man to die once, and after that the judgment. So if you didn't believe, all you got waiting on you is judgment day. How do I know that? Let's go to 2 Peter right quick. 2 Peter 2 and 4. 2 Peter 2 and 4. Sorry, 2 Peter 2 and 9. 2 Peter 2 and 9. Read.
Verse 9. The Lord knows how to deliver the godly out of the temptations, and to reserve the unjust unto the day of judgment to be punished.
Oh, so he got the ungodly, the unjust reserved until the day of what? Judgment. They not reserved to the day of rest because they don't believe in it. So now we went from, man, hey, they don't care about no Sabbath, man. It's about just a piece of paper. All they got waiting on them is the day of judgment. That's all they got. Let's go to Jude. The book of Jude. 1 and verse 6.
Verse 6. And the angels which kept not their first estate, but left their own habitation, he hath reserved in everlasting chains under darkness until the judgment of the great day.
Oh, until the judgment of the great day. What day is that? Let's do ourselves a favor and go to Numbers 29 and verse 35. I need to go to back to Leviticus. Leviticus 23. And verse 35. So we talked about the tabernacles. Let's start at verse 34. Just do that.
Verse 34.
Yep.
Speak unto the children of Israel, saying, the 15th day of this 7th month shall be the feast of tabernacles, for 7 days unto the Lord. Verse 35. On the first day shall be an holy convocation. You should do no servile work therein. Verse 36. 7 days ye shall offer an offering made by fire unto the Lord.
Now that's what we do during the Feast of the Tabernacles, because God gave man 7 days from the day he was created all the way up to the 7th day right here. 7 days to rejoice. All 7 days. The Lord coming down that 7th day to rejoice with us. Go ahead.
On the 8th day it shall be an holy convocation unto you, and ye shall offer an offering made by fire unto the Lord. It is a solemn assembly. Ye should do no several work therein. But
that 8th day is a solemn assembly, y'all. Skip down to verse 40.
Verse 40. And ye should take you on the first day of the boughs of goodly trees.
Oh, so we have to deal with trees on the first day? Why? Because that's what we read earlier about the trees being Pharaoh amongst the trees, y'all. Go ahead.
Branches of palm trees, and the boughs of thick trees, and willows of the brook. And ye shall rejoice before the Lord your God.
No, see, they say rejoice for 8 days, y'all. You say rejoice for how many days?
7.
7 days, y'all. So we got 7 days from the time God created man. Rejoice for 7 days. But guess what? Go ahead.
Verse 41. And ye shall keep it a feast unto the Lord 7 days in the year. It shall be a statute forever in your generation. Ye shall celebrate it in the 7th month.
So right there, that's good. That's good. So now let's go to Numbers 8 chapter and read specific 29 chapter and read specifically about the 8th day. Because the 7th is the Sabbath of rest, but the day of judgment is the 8th day. That's why we got this fire right here, y'all. Waiting on everybody that didn't believe. Go ahead. Yeah, Numbers 28 and verse 35. 29 to 35, my bad. Numbers 29, chapter and verse 35.
Verse 35.
Read.
On the 8th day ye shall have a solemn assembly. Ye shall do no so work therein. Verse 36. But ye shall offer a burnt offering, a sacrifice made by fire, of a sweet savor unto the Lord. 1 bullock, 1 ram, 7 lambs of the first year without blemish. Verse 37. Their meat offering and their drink offering.
Oh, so it's going to be meat on the 8th day, huh? But this meat right here is going to be representing those that did not believe in keeping commandments of God. Their meat offerings and their drink offering. Go ahead.
For the bullock, for the ram, and for the lambs shall be according to their number after the manner. Verse 38. And 1 goat for a sin offering.
Wow, so the stubborn ones, them goats. Because we can read what the Lord said. He's going to put the lambs on the left hand, on the right hand, but he's going to put them goats on the left. Okay, go ahead.
And beside the continual burnt offering, and his meat offering, and his drink offering. Verse 39. These things ye shall do unto the Lord in your set feasts, beside your vows, and your free will offerings, for your burnt offerings, and for your meat offerings, and for your drink offerings, and for your peace offerings. Verse 40. And Moses told the children of Israel according to all that the Lord commanded Moses.
So he called these a set feast, didn't he? So when was the 8th day set? It was set from right here, from day 1 right here. 6 days set our labor. The 7th is the Sabbath of rest of the Lord. But everybody that don't believe, he said it's appointed to a man to die once, but after that, the what? The judgment. So let's go look at that right quick. So Matthew's 31st chapter, 25th chapter, verse 31. Matthew's 25 and 31. Because them goats going to be the doggone sinner. Them ones that's going to get burned. Woo! Matthew 25 and 31.
Verse 31. When the Son of Man shall come in his glory, and all the holy angels with him, then shall he sit upon the throne of his glory. Verse 32. And before him shall be gathered all nations, and he shall separate them one from another, as a shepherd divideth his sheep from the goats.
Yes, sir.
Verse 33. And he shall set the sheep on his right hand.
Yes, sir.
But the goats on the left.
Oh, but the goats going to be on the left. Because the characteristics of the sheep, they want to be led by the Lord. That's why he's the Lord. He's the shepherd of the sheep. But the goats, ooh, them goats, stubborn and kicky. Yes, sir. But let's go to Malachi right quick. Malachi 1 and
1 and 16. Read.
Malachi 1:16.
Sorry, 3:16.
Verse 16. Then they that feared the Lord spake often one to another, and the Lord hearkened and heard, and a book of remembrance was written before him for them that feared the Lord, and that thought upon his name. Verse 17. And they should be mine, saith the Lord of hosts, in that day when I make up my jewels, and I will spare them as a man spareth his own son that serveth him. Verse 18. Then shall you return and discern between the righteous.
Oh, the righteous, that's the lamb. Go ahead.
And the wicked.
And then the goats. Go ahead.
Between him that serveth God and him that serveth him not.
Yes, sir. How we know this is so true, y'all? Let's go to 2 Corinthians 6 chapter and verse 2.
2 Corinthians 6 and 2. We walked it all the way down. From day one, everybody that kept the commandments of God, remember the commandments of God, they coming up for the Sabbath day. Everybody that said, man, this is a piece of paper, they come up in the 8th day. Because guess what we had for? We had for the Passover. We'll show you why the Lord will have judged us before we get to the Passover. So let's read right quick. 2 Corinthians 6. I'm sorry, 1 Corinthians 6. My bad. 1 Corinthians 6 and verse 2. 1 Corinthians 6 and verse 2.
Verse 2. Do ye not know that the saints shall judge the world?
Yes, sir. We shall judge the world. We're on Judgment Day. Because the Lord said the Sabbath of rest, that's holy unto him, that's the Sabbath. The day after the 7th day is the 8th day, which is the solemn assembly, when we shall judge the world. Go ahead.
And if the world shall be judged by you, are ye unworthy to judge the smallest matters?
Wow. Go ahead.
Verse 3. Know ye not that we shall judge angels?
And we judge angels too? Let me say he reserved the angels until the day of that great judgment. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
How much more things that pertain to this life?
So now let's go to and show you why we got these numbers on here. Why we got 8 and 13. 8 and 13, okay? By going to the covenant of Abraham. Let's go to Genesis 18 chapter. So when we go and look into this judgment day, we're going to realize that that's going to be the 13th day from the day that the Lord said, let there be light. And the evening and the morning was the first day. So we're going to go to Genesis, the 17th chapter. Which I got that right, Genesis 17. Genesis 17 and verse 9. Read.
Verse 9. And God said unto Abraham, thou shalt keep my covenant, therefore, thou and thy seed after thee in their generations. Verse 10. This is my covenant, which ye shall keep between me and you and thy seed after thee. Every man child among you shall be circumcised. Verse 11. And ye shall circumcise the flesh of your foreskin, and it shall be a token of the covenant betwixt me and you. Verse 12. And he that is 8 days old shall be circumcised among you.
Whoa, he that's 8 days old. So now man was created on what day? The 6th day. So man existed in the creation. By the time we get down to this point, we'll be 8 days old in God's creation. Therefore, he must be what? Circumcised. 8 days old, he must be circumcised. Did you finish that? Go ahead.
And every man child in your generations, he that is born in the house or bought with money of any stranger which is not of thy seed.
Now look, let's go to read Romans 15 chapter and show you why this must be done. Judgment Day is also the day of circumcision. You're going to cut off the wicked, and the only thing going to be left for the Passover is the righteous. Because we headed to the days of heaven now. Romans 15 and verse 8. Read.
Verse 8. Now I say that Jesus Christ was a minister of the circumcision for the truth of God, to confirm the promises made unto the fathers.
So he's going to confirm the promises on the 8th day that's made unto the fathers. Now let's show you that this is actually Jesus that talked to Abraham by going to St. John 8 and verse 52. 58. St. John 8 and 58. Because when man gets his 8th day in existence, he's not coming out the same way he went in. And we're going to read how he went in, and then we're going to show you how he's coming out. St. John 8 and verse 58. Go ahead.
Verse 58. Jesus said to them, Verily, verily, I say unto you, before Abraham was, I am.
Oh, so the minister of the circumcision stood there and told him, look, you make sure everyone is circumcised, and that uncircumcised flesh that is not circumcised, he going to get cut off. Let's go back. Let's go back to Genesis 8 chapter, 17 chapter rather. And verse 13.
Verse 13. He that is born in thy house, and he that is bought with thy money, must needs be circumcised.
Might be. He said, must needs, so the seed, Adam, must be circumcised. Must needs be circumcised. Go ahead.
And my covenant shall be in your flesh, for an everlasting covenant.
Whoa, everlasting, huh? Interesting. Go ahead.
Verse 14. And the uncircumcised man shall, whose flesh of his foreskin is not circumcised, that soul shall be cut off from his people. He hath broken my covenant.
And that's why when we get to the 8th day, from when God created man, he's going to find out who's broken his covenant. Which is the 13th day. Now let's see what how Abraham reacted to this. Skip all the way down to verse 25. Let's say, he that is 8 days old must be circumcised, and his firstborn, Abraham's firstborn after the flesh, was Ishmael. And let's see how old Ishmael was. Read. Verse 25.
Verse 25. And Ishmael, his son, was 13 years old.
Oh, his son was 13 years old. The number 13, pay close attention. Here it comes. So from the first day, from day 1, if you count all the way out to when the 8th day for man is, what day is, what number is that, y'all? 13. Those of you that don't have a visual, do yourself a favor. You're in our teleconference call room. Write down 1 through 14. Right quick. 1 through 14 horizontally. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Now under number 6, write down 1, 2, same going across. Write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And you will see the covenant of Abraham. He that's 8 days old must be circumcised. And Abraham's son, Ishmael, was circumcised when he was 13 years. That's why at the top of this, the days of heaven are based on 1,000 years each day. That's a different dispensation altogether for man. Because look, like I just read a little earlier, broke it down. Hey, if you're 31 years old, you've only been 22 minutes in the creation. You've only been here for 22 minutes. You know how long 22 minutes is. That's shorter than this lesson, y'all. We've blew past 22 minutes. That's why when he dealt with sin for us, the Passover, the ordinance of the Passover is, guess what? It goes on and on. But when you get to the creation, that's a different, we're on the whole level. We're on the creation aspect now. Can't be no sin on that because it's going to be finished. Because he got to purge, he got to cut off the wicked on the 8th day. There will be no leavening after that 13th day of creation because of the circumcision. Because, now let's look at the ordinance of the circumcision right quick, y'all. Let's go by going to Exodus 12 chapter. Exodus 12 and verse 43. Because the Passover is only an evening event. Ain't no morning part of it. Can't none of the Passover remain till the morning, y'all. None of that. So we're going to go to Exodus 12 and 43.
So now we're looking at it. We done got all the way to Judgment Day. Matter of fact, before we go there, hold on. Let's go to Revelation 20 and walk into the 8th day. Or the 13th day of creation. My bad. Let's go to Revelation 20th chapter. Revelation 20. And we're going to read at verse 1. Revelation 20 and verse 1. Then we're going to walk this into the 18th day of creation. 8th day to create, 13th day of creation, or the 8th day. So let's go here to Revelation 20th chapter. And we're going to start at verse 1.
Verse 1. And I saw an angel come down from heaven, having the key of the bottomless pit, and a great chain in his hand. Verse 2. And he laid hold on the dragon, that old serpent which is the devil, and Satan, and bound him 1,000 years. Now
this bounding is for this day, the 7th day. Satan ain't entered to that rest. That's why we here getting the ministry of God, the words of God. This is the day he feeds us on this day. This is the day when he's pouring out his word. This is the day we are to feast on the word of God. That's why I was listed under the feast. Nevertheless, Satan don't want you to get the word. So he's going to be bound when this day actually get here. 1,000 years, one day. Go ahead.
Verse 3. And cast him into the bottomless pit and shut him up, and set a seal upon him, that he should deceive the nations no more, until the 1,000 years should be fulfilled. And after that he must be loosed of the receiver.
Oh wait, just before that. No, it said what?
And after.
It said after that. After what? The 1,000 years. One day, each one of these is 1,000 years, y'all. Satan gets no parts of the rest. The unbelievers already told they shall not enter into my rest. Because of what? Unbelief. Who the biggest unbeliever, y'all? Satan said the devils believe and they tremble. Because they know God ain't letting them into his rest. So right here, when we get all the way down here to here, the 7th day, Satan's going to be bound for that day. Now let's see what's going to happen. Go ahead.
Verse 4. And I saw thrones, and they sat upon them, and judgment was given unto them.
Oh, they're going to saints. Because we're going to judge the world. So we rule with Christ. Go ahead.
And I saw the souls of them that were beheaded for the witness of Jesus.
Yes, sir.
And for the word of God.
Because we have the first fruits of the Spirit for the first resurrection. Therefore, we are witnesses of Jesus. Go ahead.
And for the word of God.
Yes, sir.
And which had not worshipped the beast, neither his image, neither had received his mark upon their foreheads or in their hands. And they lived and reigned with Christ 1,000 years.
One day, that rest. That's why he said there remained a rest to the people of God. There remained a rest to the people of God. That's it right there. The 7th day. But it's the 12th day from the creation. Because we're going to go and read it in Deuteronomy. He said the boundaries of the children of Israel according to the number of the tribes of the children of Israel. He got 12 sons, then he had a daughter. So now we under the administration of the sons, but what about the daughter? That's why you got that 13. Because he had, Jacob had 13 kids, 12 sons and a daughter. So now we see judges given to them, and they live and reign with Christ 1,000 years. But now watch this, verse 5. Go ahead.
Verse 5. But the rest of the dead lived not again until the 1,000 years were finished. This is the first resurrection.
Oh, this is the first fruits. We come up and we represent those that had the first fruits. That was witness of Jesus for the word and for the word of God. So we come up in here, but the rest of the dead, oh no. They don't come up until it's appointed, because it says appointed to man to die. Afterwards, the what? The judgment. Which is what? The 8th day, right here. We're going right here. This is the 8th day right here. Go ahead.
Verse 6. Blessed and holy is he that hath part in the first resurrection.
That's how we deal with the Holy Bible, the Holy Spirit, his holy word, his holy apostles, and his holy prophets, and his holy teachings, and his holy ministry. It's got to all be holy, y'all. And we're going to get in this, because he said, blessed and holy is he. They have part in what? The first resurrection. Go ahead.
On such the second death hath no power, but they shall be priests of God and of Christ, and shall reign with him 1,000 years.
That's what we're looking for. That's why they're going to come up to Jerusalem to worship the King. Because he's going to reign here from Jerusalem.
reign on this earth from Jerusalem. 1,000 years, one day. Now let's see what happens after that day. Go ahead.
Verse 7. And when the 1,000 years when the 1,000 years are expired.
Wait a minute now. It said when 1,000 years are expired. Do y'all know what expired means? You get out there and drive your car on the expired driver's license. You go pull a cop over. Hey, officer, I'm driving on the expired license. You already know what's going to happen. Excuse me, sir. Turn around. You're going to get an immediate retribution. Expiring is over. Not going to judge you for none of that. But it's over. It's done. So when the 1,000 years are finished, Satan's going to be loose. Now we keep coming out in the 8th day. And what's going to be there? Go ahead.
Verse 8. And shall go out to deceive the nations which are in the four quarters of the earth. Gog and Magog.
Whoa, so we got flesh and blood still in the 8th day, huh? After the 1,000 years. Go ahead.
To gather them together to battle, the number of whom is as the sand of the sea.
Yes, sir.
Verse 9. And they went up on the breadth of the earth, and compassed the camp of the saints about.
Because the camp of the saints is going to be right here, y'all. On this earth. Go ahead.
And the beloved city and fire came down from God out of heaven and devoured.
Oh, so that's why when we read that Numbers 29 chapter, the fire hit this flesh. Oh yeah, this is going to be the flesh that's burning, and a greater fire is coming, y'all. Go ahead. We're going to read about that fire. Go ahead.
Verse 10. And the devil that deceived them was cast into the lake of fire.
Whoa, that's what that fire, y'all. That's why he said we're going to rejoice for 7 days. From day one. Sorry, for day one for man. We're going to rejoice for 7 days, y'all. But on that 8th day, child, please. Here go that lake of fire. And the Father ain't came down yet. Because he coming down on the 14th day. You haven't got there yet. Go ahead.
And brimstone, where the beast and the false prophet are, and shall be tormented day and night forever and ever. Oh,
they're going to be tormented day and night forever. They don't have any rest. And they're no longer sinning. How you going to be sinning and you being tormented? There is no sin. So sin doesn't cease for them. But for the rest of the people that's getting ready to come up, go ahead.
Verse 11. And I saw a great white throne, and him that sat on it, from whose face the earth and the heaven fled away, and there was found no place for them. So
now the Lord will circumcise the earth. Ain't no place found for it. Because man been in the creation from the 6th day, you go over to the 7th, take us to the 12th. Now, everybody else that didn't come up in the first resurrection, they come up to be circumcised, to be judged, to be found, whether they're worthy or not, to get to the Passover. Go ahead.
Verse 12. And I saw the dead, small and great, stand before God. And the books were open.
Yes, sir.
Another book was open.
Yes, sir.
Which is the book of life. And
Yes,
the
sir.
dead were judged out of those things which were written in the books, according to their works.
Now hold on. Go to Revelation 22 and 21 and verse 27. We're going to read that one verse. Let's go to Revelation 21 and 27.
Verse 27. And there shall in no wise enter into anything that defileth, neither whatsoever worketh abomination or maketh a lie, but they which are written in the Lamb's book of life.
So you got to be found in the Lamb's book of life? Yes, sir, because we headed for the Passover. That's where you want to be found. You don't want to be found just in this. Let's go back to Revelation 20th chapter. Because he opened the book. Did you read that verse 21? 12 rather? And I saw the dead, small and great, stand before God. And they would judge out those things which were written in the books according to their works. Go ahead.
What?
Verse 13.
And the sea gave up the dead which were in it, and death and hell delivered up the dead which were in them, and they were judged every man according to their works.
Whoa, go ahead.
Verse 14. And death and hell were cast into the lake of fire. This is the second death. Verse 15. And whosoever was not found written in the book of life was cast into the lake of fire.
Which is the book of the Lamb of God. That's Jesus. Now, we almost done, y'all. Here's what I'm going to do. Let's go to Matthew's the 26th chapter. And nail this 14th day in the head. Matthew 26 and 1. So we head for the days of heaven. It's going to be either eternal damnation or eternal life. Matthew 26. Matter of fact, let's read that right quick. St. John 5 and 28. Because this is an 8-day shot right here. St. John 5 and 28. Read.
Verse 28. Marvel not at this, for the hour is coming, in the which all that are in the grave shall hear his voice.
Everybody that did make the first resurrection, that's everybody that did make the first resurrection, y'all. We read what the first resurrection is. Blessed and holy he that had part in it, and everybody ain't blessed and holy, y'all. So this is everybody else. Therefore, all that hear his voice, all that in the grave shall hear his voice and do what? Verse 29.
And shall come forth,
yes,
they that have done good unto the resurrection of life, and they that have done evil unto the resurrection of damnation.
See, it's going to be either eternal life or eternal damnation coming up, y'all. So let's go over to Matthew, the 26th chapter, and nail the 14th day in the head. And we're going to go to 26 and verse 1 and 2, then we're going to skip down. Matthew 26.
Verse 1. And it came to pass, when Jesus had finished all these sayings, he said unto his disciples, Ye know that after 2 days is the feast of the Passover, and the Son of Man is betrayed to be crucified. So
now let's skip down, all the way down to verse, let's go down to verse 17.
Now, verse 17, now the first day of the feast of unleavened bread.
And if one of the Lord's titles, he is the unleavened bread, or the feast of the Lord. We read that in Leviticus 23rd chapter. These are the feasts of the Lord. And the Lord is unleavened bread. So the first day of the feast of unleavened bread, go ahead.
The disciples came to Jesus, saying unto him, Where wast thou that we prepared for thee to eat the Passover?
So they get ready to eat the Passover. Okay? So let's skip down to verse 26.
Verse 26. And as they were eating, Jesus took bread and blessed it, and brake it, and gave it to the disciples, and said, Take, eat, this is my body.
So we know what this is leading to, right? The Passover, they're eating the Passover. Go ahead.
Verse 27. And he took the cup and gave thanks, and gave it to them, saying, Drink ye all of it, for this is my blood, of the New Testament, which is shed for many for the remission of sins. Verse 29. But I say unto you, I will not drink henceforth of this fruit of the vine until that day when I drink it new with you in my Father's
So now
kingdom.
Jesus knew he was crossing over to the days of heaven. So no, I'm not going to be drinking this with you until I drink it new with you in my what? Father's kingdom. So what day did Jesus say this on? On the 14th day, we read that. The Lord's Passover is the 14th day. That's when we read Leviticus 23rd chapter, he said 6 days shall thou labor, but the seventh Sabbath rest. And the first feast he mentioned was the feast of what? Passover. Because this Passover is one, it's in the days of heaven that he's talking about. I'm not going to partake until I drink it new with you in my Father's kingdom. So now let's go to Matthew 27 chapter and verse 1. Now we're on the morning part of the Passover. Go ahead.
Verse 1. When the morning was come, all the chief priests and elders of the people took counsel against Jesus to put him to death.
Because he is the Passover. That's when we had to change it over the ordinances. Now let's do ourselves a favor and let's go to verse 45. Like Jesus was on the cross. Yep.
Verse 45. Now from the 6th hour there was darkness over all the land until the 9th hour. Verse 46. And about the 9th hour, Jesus cried with a loud voice, saying, Eli, Eli, lama sabachthani. That is to say, my God, why hast thou forsaken me?
Now he was crying out to the Father. And let's see what happened, y'all, by going to Psalms 18 chapter. Because this is death compassion about the Lord. And we're going to go to Psalms 18 chapter, verse 3. Psalms 18 chapter and verse 3. Psalms 18. And verse 4. Start at verse 4. Actually, I'm looking, because I'm looking at my time. Skip down to read verse 6.
Verse 6. In my distress I called upon the Lord and inquired unto my God.
Actually, I can't ignore verse 4 because it takes the sorrows of death capacity. So start at verse 3 and read on down.
Verse 3?
Yeah.
Verse 3. I will call upon the Lord who is worthy to be praised. So shall I be saved from mine enemy. Verse 4. The sorrows of death compassed me, and the floods of ungodly men made me afraid. Verse 5. The sorrows of hell compassed me about.
Yes, sir.
The snares of death prevented me. In my distress I called upon the Lord and cried unto my God. He heard
Remember he said, my God, why hast thou forsaken me? So he cried to my God. Go ahead.
He heard my voice out of his temple, and my cry came before him, even into his ears.
Yes, sir.
Verse 7. Then the earth shook and trembled. The foundations also of the hills moved and were shaken.
So there was an earthquake when the Lord was on that. They said, surely this is the Son of God. We can read that. Go ahead.
Because he was wroth. Verse 8. There went up a smoke out of his nostril, and fire out of his mouth. Devoured coals were kindled by it. Verse 9. He bowed the heavens also, and came down.
Oh, he bowed the heavens and came down. Go ahead.
And darkness was under his feet.
We read from what, 9th from the 12th hour today? We read darkness came down also. So he bowed the heavens also, and he came down, and darkness was under his feet. Go ahead.
Verse 10. And he rode upon a cherub, and did fly. Yea, he did fly upon the wings of the wind. Verse 11. He made darkness his secret place.
Oh, he made darkness his secret what? Place. Go ahead.
His pavilion round about him were dark waters and thick clouds of the sky.
So now let's go back. Let's go back to Matthew's 26th chapter, 27th chapter rather. Let's see what he said on that day. Well, I want to go to another account where he actually says a key word, and this is how we know this is Jesus, y'all. I want to go to Luke's account. Sure, that's Luke's account. Oh, sorry, John. My bad. John gives it straight up what he said on here on the Passover. So we go to John 19 chapter and verse 30. St. John 19 chapter and verse 30.
Verse 30.
Read.
When Jesus therefore had received the vinegar, he said, "It is finished." And he bowed his head and gave up the ghost.
So this is what he said on the Passover. Now let's go see what he's going to say on the Passover, the creation. Let's go all the way to Revelation's 21st chapter. This is our last passage. Yeah. Now, we read Isaiah, if we had read Isaiah 66, starting at verse 15 all the way down, there was a new heaven and a new earth by virtue of Jesus ruling over Jerusalem, from Jerusalem on this earth. Now, here's the second new heaven and new earth, right here, Revelation 21 and 1.
Verse 1. And I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth were passed away, and there was no more sea. Verse 2. And I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down from God out of heaven, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. Verse 3. And I heard a great voice out of heaven saying, Behold, the tabernacle of God is with men.
Yes, sir.
And he will dwell with them, and they shall be his people, and God himself shall be with them, and be their God. Verse 4. And God shall wipe away all tears from their eyes, And there should be no more death.
So there's no more death, which means there's no more sin. Because sin brought about death. There is no more sin. We head into eternity now, y'all. Right here. On the 14th day. Right there. Go ahead.
Neither sorrow nor crying, neither shall there be any more pain, for the former things are passed away.
So all lamb has been put away out of the creation. Because it's in the lake of fire burning. Who's going to be sitting in the lake of fire, y'all? You tell me. Anyway. Go ahead.
Verse 5, and he sat upon the throne, said, Behold, I make all things new.
Oh, so now we got all things new. That's why I said I will not drink this new with you until I drink the new with you in my Father's kingdom. Go ahead.
And he said unto me, Write, for these words are true and faithful. Verse 6, and he said unto me, It is done.
He said, it is done? Ain't that what it is finished mean? It is done? When you're done, that means you're what? Finished. Oh. He said to me, it is done. Go ahead.
I am Alpha.
Oh, wait a minute. Jesus is the beginning and the end. Go ahead.
And Omega.
Yes, sir.
The beginning and the end.
Yes, sir.
I will give unto him that is athirst of the fountain of the water of life free.
Yes, sir. Now watch this, y'all. I want to skip down in this and point out some very significant things. Because when this new Jerusalem comes down, look what it's going to say at verse 14. Watch this.
Verse 14. And the wall of the city had 12 foundations, and in them the names of the 12 apostles of the Lamb.
Oh, so the 12 apostles of the Lamb. So we kick it against the New Testament, y'all. We ain't getting in that city. I always hear brother point out, you do the 12 tribes, names of Israel. If you kick it against the New Testament, you ain't getting in this city. Because it said the 12 apostles, the leader of the Reformation, the 12 apostles of the what? The Lamb. When did they kill the Lamb, y'all? On the 14th day. But here we see the Lamb show up on the 14th day of the days of heaven. 14th day of the days of creation when we headed into eternity. Got to come through the apostles. It said the names are also on that gate of the names of the 12 apostles of the Lamb. Now let's get down to verse 22.
Verse 22. And I saw no temple therein, for the Lord God Almighty and the Lamb are the temple of it.
Oh, so Lamb is there. Why is this Lamb showing up? Because we don't reach the 14th day of the creation, y'all. It's a wrap. Go ahead.
Verse 23. And the city had no need of the sun, neither of the moon, to shine in it, for the glory of God did light in it. And the Lamb is the light thereof.
Yes, sir.
Verse 24. And the nations of them which are saved shall walk in the light of it.
Oh, wait a minute. Hold this spot. I want to go read this passage. Let's go to Jude and see what happened on the Passover. What the Lord did for on the Passover for Israel. Jude 1 and verse 1 and 5. Because while there was sin in the dispensation of man with death, watch what happened. Go ahead.
Verse 5.
Yeah.
I will therefore put you in remembrance, though ye once knew this, how that the Lord having saved the people out of the land of Egypt, afterwards destroyed them that believed not.
Oh, when we get to the days of heaven, and he will remove all the uncircumcised, he will remove Pharaoh, he will destroy Pharaoh and his army, that's Satan, put him in the lake of fire, all his ministers, all his leaven, all his wickedness. In the days of heaven, ain't going to be no leaven after that. Because it's going to be all God. But what we just read right here, this is why death was in the creation. The ones that didn't believe, he destroyed after. But nevertheless, he saved the people out of what? Egypt. That's exactly what's happening right here in the 14th day of the days of heaven. So let's go back to Revelation 22nd chapter. And read that verse 24 again.
And the nations of them which are saved shall walk in light of it.
Yes, sir.
And the kings of the earth do bring their glory and honor into it.
Oh, because we're still here on the earth? Because this is a new heaven and a new earth. Go ahead.
Verse 25. And the gates of it shall not be shut at all by day, for there should be no night there.
Because everybody going to be luminous beings.
Ain't gonna be no more sin. We in eternity. The time of no sin. Go ahead.
Verse 26. And they shall bring the glory and honor of the nations into it. Verse 27. And there shall in no wise enter into it anything that defiles, neither whatsoever worketh abomination or maketh a lie, but they which are written in the Lamb's book of life.
In the Lamb's book of life, that's how you're going to make it to this 14th day of the creation. To get into what? Eternity. So I hope you guys understand about the creation from Abib 1, where there was no moon, it was straight dark. That's how we know when you get to the middle of the month, that's when God going to be full. That's why the full moon represents the middle of a month, not the beginning of a month, y'all. Lord showed me that. I was like, wow. Because God going to be all in all. Matter of fact, let's read that. I'm sorry. Got to go ahead. 1 Corinthians 15, and this is the last verse. 1 Corinthians 15 and verse 24. We reading the end. Go ahead.
Verse 24. Then cometh the end, when he shall have delivered up the kingdom to God, even the Father, when he shall have put down all rule and all authority and power.
So that's why he said, I will not drink this with you new, till I drink wine with you, till I drink it new with you in my Father's kingdom. That's what the unleavened bread is pointing towards, the Father. Jesus the Father. That's why we bear witness to Jesus. Even Jesus the Father. So the end comes when he shall deliver up the kingdom of God, even the Father, when what? He shall have put down all rule and authority and power. Go ahead.
Verse 25. For he must reign till he hath put all enemies under his feet.
Yes, sir.
Verse 26. The last enemy that shall be destroyed is death.
And we read that happens in the 8th day. That's the last enemy. On the 8th day. Go ahead.
Verse 27. For he hath put all things under his feet. But when he saith all things are put under him, it is manifest that he is accepted, which did put all things under him.
See, go ahead.
Verse 28. And when all things shall be subdued unto him,
Yes, sir.
then shall the Son also himself be subject unto him that put all things under him, that God may be all in all.
That's why the full moon is in the middle of the month. Because it's going to be full. The kingdom of God's going to be full then, y'all. The beginning, it started out in darkness. Remember, there was darkness upon the face of the earth. That's how we know a new moon is a dark moon. But in the creation, from the beginning, from day 1, always when you get to day 14, even now the Lord showing you, when you get to the middle of the month, you start seeing a full moon. He's showing everybody in his creation, guess what? When you get to the middle of Abib, guess what? My kingdom gonna be full. God gonna be just more than 1, 2 inhabiting the species. It's gonna be full. However many make it. Okay? So I hope you got some understanding about the creation from Abib to the time, to eternity, where there shall be no sin.